What's up, everyone? Welcome to Ashley Talks Movies, and welcome to my review of Die My Love, the latest movie from director Lynne Ramsay. Jennifer Lawrence stars as Grace, a woman on the verge of a breakdown. Grace is a writer and young mother who moves to the country with her husband Jackson, played by Robert Pattinson. But as Grace becomes more frustrated by her situation and her troubled relationship, she starts behaving in strange and terrifying ways. Before I jump into the review, if you'd like to support the channel, there are a couple of ways you can do that. Make sure you subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Also, join the discussion. Jump into the comments to share your thoughts about the movie.
Grace, if you're having a hard time,
I feel fine.
Die My Love is a hard movie to describe because there's just so much going on in it. This movie, at least for me, was an emotional roller coaster. And after watching it initially, I wasn't really sure how I felt about it. Parts of it frustrated me, parts of it impressed me, parts of it left me utterly confused. And even now, as I do this review, I'm still not completely sure how I feel about it. Die My Love is about a woman who is spiraling out of control. And it shows an exaggerated view of someone who feels that they have lost their purpose and who feels trapped in life and in their relationships. Grace is someone who doesn't really know how to deal with the pressures of marriage and motherhood, so she begins to behave really erratically. And this movie kind of explores all these different themes in a very hallucinatory, dreamlike way. But the best thing about this movie, hands down, is Jennifer Lawrence's performance. She's able to make the swing between someone who is so detached from everything and emotionless to someone who is exploding with rage. Robert Pattinson gives a good performance as a man who becomes withdrawn from his relationship. Jackson is the kind of guy who makes no effort to understand his wife, and he always has pitiful excuses for his own terrible behavior. The rest of the characters in this movie don't get a ton of depth, which is a shame considering the cast, but you do get a nice performance from Sissy Spacek as Grace's mother-in-law, and she brings a nice warmth to her role. And you have Lakeith Stanfield, who is mostly kind of in a blink and you miss it role, and he plays a mysterious motorcycle rider who Grace fantasizes about. Now, the camera work in this movie is excellent. It's one of the few things that really stand out. The camera is often moving in and around different scenes, and the movements often mimic the chaotic energy of everything that's happening in those scenes. The cinematography here is also really beautiful and does a really great job of capturing the rustic setting and also playing into the themes of isolation that you see the characters like Grace experience. But the story here is so messy. Sometimes it meanders, sometimes it just goes in circles. And that was probably the most frustrating part about this movie, was the repetitive nature of the story. And if I'm being honest, at times this movie feels a little too chaotic. Now, I didn't love Die My Love, and not because the movie is strange and weird and goes to some really out there places. I had issues with the story. I thought it lacked structure and focus, and I really had issues with the ending, which was something. But I can still appreciate that this was a very well-made movie and that there were some interesting elements I liked, even if I don't think they all came together. And I'll say this again, the best thing about this movie is Jennifer Lawrence and her very committed performance. So those are my thoughts on Die My Love, which is out in theaters right now. Have you seen the movie, or do you plan on seeing the movie? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. So that's it for me, everyone. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.